Okay, let's begin. Okay, good morning to everyone. Hi to everyone. God bless to all and always keep in safe and in good health. Okay, planning and control management special topic. First of all, I would like to thank you all for all the subscriptions, likes, and shares. Our previous episode was special topic, session 7. That was about project resource labeling concepts. Our current episode is a special topic, session 8, and this is about project labeling also. But this time we will be working on Primavera P6 on how to execute the resource labeling in Primavera P6. Okay, our objectives here is to demonstrate with illustration the execution of project resource labeling in Primavera P6. Okay, moving forward, let's proceed to demonstrate the execution of our resource labeling in P6. And here it is, our P6. This was our previous scenario uh, in our in our project or our sample project. Okay. Now let's try to walk through on this window. Let me explain first. This line here on our profile window here, this line here is called the limit line for the available units or maximum units per time. So meaning this is the in our resource dictionary, if you can see it here. You can see a highlight the laborer which we use in the resource that we are using now in our sample project. We have here our maximum units, so we put it in here as 10. Okay, so let's get back. So this line is that parameters, which is the maximum units per time available for our project. So now when the allocation is more than what we have available, so it will become the over allocation, and we can see it here, the red line or the red vertical line as shown here on our legend, that the remaining early units is the green color vertical line, vertical bar, and the red is the over allocated remaining early units. So we have here our remaining early units, the green vertical bar, and this one is our remaining late units. And this one is the over allocated remaining late units. Okay. Now we will go here. If you look at our activity here, we have 3 activities here, A, B, and C. Now we will go to the activity Gantt chart window. Let's open this one. Okay, and then go to activity Gantt chart window and then apply. Okay, here, as you can see here, we have here our total float and duration. And if you highlight this activity A, here we can see it here on our bottom window. By clicking the resource tab, we can see here the maximum units that we are available, or we have available units per time, and also the budgeted units per time. This is our allocation. So we have here 10, and we have here activity B is 10 budgeted units per time. And also here our activity C is also 10. So if you look at this one, obviously, when it comes to this period here, that is on allocation, because this has a 10 units per day allocation, and our budget and our available units per time is 10. So meaning they are equals. So that means they are on allocation. Now, when it comes to here on this period from here down here, we have two competing activities here. So that means if this first activity has 10 units per day, and this activity has also 10 units per day allocation, it will sum up to a 20 units per day allocation. But our available units is only 10. So that means there is an over allocation of 10 units per day, right? Now we're going here on this period from here down to here. We have three competing activities here. In other words, three concurrent activities on this period from here down here. So when you sum up the units per day, it will give us 30 units per day, but our available units is 10. So that means there is an over allocation of 20 units per day. Okay. Now here is the red line is the critical early bar, and the green line is the non-critical early bar, and the color magenta is the critical late bar, and this cyan color bar is the non-critical late bar, meaning it is non-critical because if you look at here, there is a float for the early bar of how many? 10 days. I put it here, the float bar of, if we will look at our bars here, I will look at our bar type assignment, click bar, and then, okay, here, I created here the float bar. So it's very simple to establish this one. Just click this one and then click float bar, and then normal, and then choose your color. Now, if you want to remove this one, this is a 10 days float, right? If you count this number of days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you want to remove it, it can be, apply it. So you can see that there is a float here going to the completion date. It has a float of 10 days. Okay. Okay, so let's put back the bar and then apply. Okay, the next thing that we have to do here is we will work for the situation where our project is unallocated. Okay, so how to do that? Meaning when we say unallocated, that means that the activity or the maximum competing activities for a project, the combination of the units per day of that competing activity of the project is equal to the maximum units per time. Meaning the available units per time can accommodate the combination of the competing or concurrent activities for your project. So let's say, for example, the maximum competing activities here is these three activities. So meaning it requires, since this is 10 days allocation, 10 units per day allocation, this one is also 10 units per day allocation, and this other one is also 10 units per day allocation. So that means it has 30 units per day allocation. So to be able for that to be on allocation, we need our maximum units per day to be 30 units per day, right? Okay, just for our demonstration purposes, so we will try to change, assuming that we have an available 30 units per day. So we will change we will go to our resource tab or resource dictionary tab, and then we will change our units per day for the laborer. Anyway, we will right click this one if you want to filter only the current project resource. Okay. Okay, now here we go. So we will change this to 30. Okay, and then let's get back to our activities. Okay, we'll go to our resource profile window and then apply it. Okay, so you can see that the maximum units per day here is on this period, right? Which is 30 units per day. Now, our available units per day is capable of supplying this allocation. So that is why it is on allocation, neither over allocated or under allocated. Okay, when we say over allocated, when the resource units per time here exceeds the maximum, which is 30, then that is over allocated. But when this allocation here is lower than this line, which is our limit or maximum units per day, that is under allocated. Okay. So our next move here is to run the labeling process, and we will see what will be the behavior of the labeling or behavior of the resources and the activities when we will run the labeling in Primavera P6. Okay, first, let's go to here. We have a shortcut icon for the labeling of the resources. And also we can find it here also under the tools and then label resources. Okay, but we will be using this one, the shortcut. Okay, and then here. So the three items here that is really could affect our labeling execution is this one, and this one. Okay, mostly I am using total flow because this is one of the most important parameters in every project. So next, we will go to preserve schedule early dates and late dates. When we will mark this box or this field, that means that we will be working on the early dates. I hope that you still remember our topics on the forward and backward calculation of the schedule, so that you will understand what is early and late dates. So when we'll mark this checkbox, so that means we are considering that the effect of the labeling process will affect only the early dates. Okay. And if you unmark this checkbox, it will affect both. Okay. It will affect both early and late dates. So if you mark this checkbox, it will affect the early dates, but the late dates will remain the same. Okay, but if you remove it, so everything will change depending on the movement of the or the execution of the labeling when it is run. Okay, now we will go here. This one, I think you are already familiar with this one, and the label all resources is very self-explanatory. That if you use the label all resources, so of course all resources will be labeled. But if you choose specific resources only, just remove this one, and then you have to select it here, and then check this checkbox. Since we have only one resource being used here, so only one appears in here. Okay. And then next is I will just check this one, and then here label resources only within activity total flow. If you unmark this one, if you mark this one, this box, it will specify or give a command to the labeling process that it will only affect those resources only within the activity total flow. Okay. But if you unmark this checkbox, you are giving the labeling process to execute its job to satisfy the specifications that we have given. So that means it will deliberately extend your activity when the situation of your project is over allocated. Okay. But if your project is on allocation or under allocation, Primavera P6 will do nothing, because there is nothing to a label, because there is no over allocation on your project. Okay, and this one, I think you already know this one. You can choose the labeling priorities that we discussed, or the list of the labeling priorities that we have taken up in our previous episode. Okay, now what will be the next? Okay, let's try to first, we will run it by, okay, marking this checkbox, meaning we have to affect the early dates and let the labeling process to extend our activity dates whenever it is over allocated. Okay. But obviously our project is not, our project is on allocation. There is no over allocation. Even though we will not run this labeling execution, it will be obviously labeling will do nothing on our project. Okay, let's try to run it. Let's click this label and then run. Okay, you see there is nothing been changed on the activity days and everything. Okay, let's get back again, and then we will go to the next scenario. We will check this box so that we will give the labeling process the information that we need only the to label the resources which has or within the activity total flow. So we will preserve 0. Okay, that is to maximize the labeling of the resources. Okay, and then let's run it. So I'm pretty sure run label. Okay, nothing also happened. And then next, we will get back again to the next execution. Okay, here. Now, how about if we will use both the early dates and the late dates, meaning we will allow labeling to affect or impact the early and the late dates and deliberately extend the project if necessary due to over allocation. Okay, so that means we will have to remove this one. That means when we remove this one, early dates and late dates will be affected and we will run it. Okay. Okay, still there is nothing and nothing happened. So in conclusion, if there is no over allocation on your project, labeling in Primavera P6 will do nothing on your project. There is no changes or any changes to the activity dates whenever there is no over allocation. Okay, so now we will move to into a situation where our project is under allocated. Okay, so how to do that if it is under allocated? So meaning we will reduce this one because this is on allocation. So we will reduce this one. The available units per time, we will reduce it. Or I mean the available units per time will be bigger than the allocation. Okay, so since this is 30, so this one is start from here down here is 30, which is the current available units we have. So that is why they are equals. So that is on allocation. Now we will put it under a situation where it is under allocated. So we will make these maximum units into 40. Okay, so let's go to resource. Let's click 40. Okay, and then activity. Okay, so meaning if you look at here, our available units is in this line, which is 40 units per day. But here the maximum units per day created by the three competing activities or concurrent activities is only 30. So we have an under allocation of how many? 10 units per day. Now we will run the same labeling process as what we did in our what we call this in our situation where it was on allocation. Okay, let's go to label resources. Okay, and now uh, where was it? Okay, here. Okay, first we will check this one to affect the early dates, and then we will allow the labeling to execute deliberately or change the activity dates deliberately if it is really necessary. But since there is no over allocation, I'm pretty sure that there is no effect. Okay, let's run the label. Okay, nothing happened. Okay, so let's get back again to now we will mark this one to tell labeling process to limit the labeling resource labeling into the resources which has within the activity total flow. Okay, that means this command will allow, or I mean, will limit the labeling to maintain the completion date of our project. Okay, because we are only allowing only within the activity total flow. So that means our completion date will not be affected. Okay, then we will run it. Okay, so there is nothing happened also. So again, we will get back to okay, now we will get back to the third condition where we have to affect the early and the late dates. So we will be removing this one. Okay, and then label. So there is nothing also happened. That means Primavera will do nothing when the situation of the project is not over allocated. That means Primavera will work only for a project which has an over allocated resources. Okay. Now, we will move now to the situation where our project is over allocated, or there is an over allocation. Okay, so what we have to do it is to since this is 30, so we have to lower our available or maximum units per day. So let's say we will make it as a 20. So here it is 40. So we will change it to go to resource, and then we'll change it into 20. Okay. Now we will get back to the activity tab. Now you can see this, the uh, our resource profile or resource graph here. There is a an over allocation, which is since our maximum units per time is 20 and this is 30, so there is an over allocation of 10 units per day. And the over allocation is allocated in here because this has a maximum competing activities. Meaning this one, it has a 2 competing activities, but this one, it has 3 competing activities. Now, if you add this one, it will give you how many? 10 units per day, 10 units per day. So it will give you 20 units per day. That is why it is on allocation for this period. Because our maximum unit per time is 20, so they are the same. Now, what can Primavera do for this over allocation? We will see. Now, first will run the labeling also in this situation. So we will click this one, And then let's say we will check this one, and then uh, checking this one is that we will be affecting the early dates only, right? And unmarking this checkbox, we will allow the labeling to do its best to label the resources. Okay. Okay, let's click run and look what will happen. Okay, so what happened? The completion date is still the same, right? But Primavera showed the extent of the labeled resource that is capable by the available resources. So it extends it into how many days? 20 days, from 60 down to 80. That means if you adapt this date, meaning if you are allowed to extend this duration to adapt this extension of the available units, then you can do it by what? By going it here. We will run the labeling again in a different condition. Okay, let's click it here and then okay, here we go again. We will remove this one. That means uh, early dates and late dates will be affected. Okay. Okay, let's run the label. Meaning we are completely giving the labeling process to deliberately impact our activity dates and also our resource as per our resource availability extension. Okay, so let's run the label. Okay, so you can see it here that the activity adapts the duration, the extension of the available units or changing the completion date of the original schedule. That is, if you are allowed to do so. If you want to your schedule to be delayed, then you can use this one. But in reality, you are not allowed. Once you establish a project schedule, you are given the time frame when you want to finish, where and the completion of the project is a ultimate requirements. So this one is only to display or to show you how the labeling really behave in the projects for the over allocation of the resources. Okay, let's get back. So it is not really very difficult to restore the original situation, original formation of the schedule, because once you run the schedule, it will generate into regenerate into the original schedule when before it was labeled. Okay, let's run the schedule. Okay, run. Okay, you see, the schedule is restored into the original condition. Now, we will run again the labeling in a different condition. Let's say, for example, we will run the labeling again. And then here, we will use only the early dates. And also, we will limit the labeling to those resources within the activity float only. So we will check this one. Okay. Now we will run the schedule. So look at the changes that will happen. Okay. Level. So as you can see, Primavera did nothing on the schedule. You know why? Because the specification that we give to the labeling does not satisfy the condition that the Primavera will um, take the labeling, because if you look at the over allocation here, the tendency is that if you want to transfer this over allocation in here, Primavera cannot do it because the requirement only in this period is only for one activity, which is this one. Actually, this one is only is the float. There is a space in there. Let's remove that one bar. Let's remove the float bar so that we can see the space. Okay, so if you can see in this period, only one activity is moving here. So that means if we will allocate this one or relocating it in here, so that means it is not possible because this activity is only one activity, requires only 10 units per day allocation. So the available units of 20 utilize the 10 in here, and which is already sufficient to complete this project for one activity. But if we will add more one here, that is not anymore practical, because you are putting the 20 units per day while only 10 units per day is required, right? So in this scenario, you will be prompt to, or I mean, you will be forced to do the alternative solution, meaning we will be working on the activity itself. By what? By moving the activity to remove the over allocation. So in our scenario here, as you can see this activity, okay, on this period, there is a 3 competing activities that is being or competing for the 20 available resources. So that is why it is over allocated. So we have to look for the activity that we can move without affecting the completion date, right? So what activity is it? So that activity is this activity because it has an available float of 10 days. So meaning, if we will move this activity down here, meaning to finish from here, after the finish of this activity, actually the relationship of this activity with this activity is a start to start 30 days, or 20 days, or I see 30 days. So how about if we will move this activity in here, and this finish date will move in here to be parallel into its late dates. The completion date will not be affected, right? So the question here is that why the Primavera labeling process do it? Okay, this is the answer. Primavera cannot do it because it cannot satisfy the condition that only one activity in here will require only 10 units per day. Now, if we will move these activities in here, it will be already 20 units per day, which is much under allocated. So that is why Primavera didn't do not on did nothing on the process because the condition is not acceptable for Primavera to follow. Okay, so we will do the what do you call that? We will do the rectification of the activity logic. Okay, so we will move this activity, the start of this activity down here, that it will start from the finish of after the finish of this activity here, and then its finish date will be moving into the completion date, which is cannot affect the contractual completion or the required completion date. Okay, so let's go to layout. And then save layout, yes. And then we'll go to Gantt chart layout, then apply it. Okay, here we go. So what we will do here, we will rectify the relationship of this activity. So we'll highlight that one, then we will go to relationship. So instead of start by 30 days, start to start a relationship with a lag of 30 days, we will make it a finish to start. Okay, finish to start. Okay, so meaning instead of here, from here down here, the activity C move onto this date, but it does not affect the completion of 60 days. Okay, which is still acceptable, right? So we will look at our resource chart, if what happened. Okay, let's go to resource and then apply. Okay, you see, there is no more over allocation. So this is more acceptable. But what happened is that the activity becomes critical. Before it was not critical, but it becomes critical because the dates it changed without the float anymore. Unless if this activity is only 10 days, so there is still a float of 10 days here. Okay. What else? Do we have anything to do in here? Okay, let's do some other things using the or some other situation using the okay, we will restore the schedule. Actually, you cannot restore the schedule anymore because you work on the activity. You change the activity. So running the schedule will not restore the original schedule that we have. But anyway, we will go into a situation where we can compress the schedule due to the under allocation. Okay, so let's go back first again to let's say we will restore our schedule, apply. Okay, let's put this back into start to start 30 days. Okay, so here we go again. This is our original schedule. Now, what we will do, we will put our project into a situation where it is under allocated. So we will make this as, since this is 30, so we will make this as 40. Or let's say 60. We will make it a little bit bigger. So we will go to resource and then we will change it to 60. Okay. And then get back. So here, you can see that there is an under allocation here. The maximum under allocation within the three competing activities is, this is 30. So that means there is a maximum under allocation of 30 days. Now, obviously, even though you have a contractual duration here, which is 60 days, if you look at the availability, the available resources, which is much far enough or far higher than the allocation, 10, 10, 10. So we can compress the schedule, right? But Primavera cannot do it because Primavera will work only for the over allocation of the project. Okay, so that means we will be using the alternative solution, which is working on the activity. So how can we do that? We can compress this one by, let's say we will reduce this duration. Okay, the first activity, we will reduce it to, let's say 20. Okay, and then also we will reduce this one also as 20. And then we will change the relationship. Okay, let's go to activity Gantt chart. Okay, we will change the relationship. The start to start, we will make it as, since this is 20, we will make it as 10. And also we'll make this as 10. Okay, run the schedule. Okay, what happened? Okay, it is being affected by this one. So we will say, let's say we will change the log of this activity by, let's say 10 also. Okay, so that means our schedule is compressed by 30 days, right? So we will look at the our layout for the profile. Let's apply it. Okay, you see, even though we compress the schedule, there is still an under allocation of, I think this is 5, right? So it is still possible. That means if you have a contractual, you know why? Because the our available resources is high enough compared to the allocation or the required units per day on the project to complete the project. So you can compress your project. Okay, you can finish the project 50 days, 50% of the duration, right? Okay. Now, if you look at the available resources here, the available resources can compress our project in 30 days, which is 50% of the duration of the project. Now, still, if you look at this over allocation here, I think this is 50. 50. Anyway, we will go to activity window and apply. Okay, here we can see here the resources here. The resources it becomes 20, and here 20, and here 10. Okay, so meaning the resource units per day here, the budgeted becomes 20, which is we allocated it at 10 previously. So even though that means it increased the allocation by 10 days, 10 units per day, which is our original allocation was 10 units per day for the 3 activities. But since we compress it, so it the budgeted units per time also increase, which is still accommodable by the available resources. Okay, when we go here, that is 20. So the maximum unit per the available units per time we have is 60. And if we will look at this one, so that will be 20 plus 20 plus 10, it will give us 50. So actually, we still have an excess of available units of 10, right? So let's get back to our profile, then apply. Now, we will try to, do you think that we can still move this activity to maximize the available resources of 60 units per day? Okay, we will try it. So let's get back again to Gantt chart, and then we will change the log. Okay, let's say we will go to relationship. We will change the log to 5 days. Okay, 5 days also. And also we will change this to 5 days. Okay, and then run the schedule. Okay, now we'll go to our layout, which is the resource profile, then apply. Okay. You see, it is still possible. But you have to consider also the workability of the logic. If it is not workable anymore, let's say, for example, the log here, that the first activity have to accomplish for a certain period of time before this activity could start. So you have to consider that in compressing your schedule. But this one is only for your reference, that the because of the higher available units you have, the completion date of or the contractual completion date of 60 can be finished in 25 days. Okay. So if you will run the schedule here or run the labeling here, labeling can do nothing because there is no over allocation on this situation. So we'll try it. Okay. We will try to, okay, this is enough. Or we will remove this one so that we can give labeling a deliberate effort to extend the project. Okay. And let's click label. So there is nothing happened. It is because there is no over allocation that the labeling and Primavera will be working on. So that means Primavera will run only or affect the labeling process when there is an over allocation. Other than that, you have to do the alternative solution. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do here is to save. When you run a labeling and it is already acceptable for you, you have to save that project and don't run that project anymore, because when you run that project, it will regenerate into the original condition or schedule where before it was last leveled. Okay, I think this is a very detailed demonstration and illustration for you to understand. So I think we are enough in here. So let's get moved into our next episode. Okay. Okay, our next episode is also special topics, session 9. The distinction or differential cost between a labeled resource and unlabeled projects. Okay. I hope you to be there during this episode. Next, our upcoming episode is upcoming episodes. And before that, kindly subscribe, like, and share. And also, your comment is valuable to improve the content and quality of our exercise. Okay, our next or upcoming episodes is to update progress and actuals using Microsoft Excel format by Primavera P6 export and import feature. The next is the program update 003, the third program update. And the same thing that we did on our previous update is to for progress and actuals update. And the program update 003 to incorporate contractors' delays into the current program. So that means we have to create a scenario where the contractors are or incurs or the cause of the delay for this periodic update. Okay. And the last one is the project delay impact analysis of contractors' identified delays. Okay. End of our session, and God bless to all. And thank you very much